right? Do you know what curcumin is?
Comes from turmeric, or turmeric comes from curcumin. I don't remember which.
I like that. Yeah. I like it. You've been paying attention in class. Yeah, pass one to Kim.
Thank you.
Candies or cookies?
No, they're chewables. Curcumin Evel makes curcumin available directly. Well, Beata is not going to like this because it's sweet. I was giving it to you. Actually, we should charge you. One is free, the second one comes at $10 a piece. It's curcumin. There's some sugar in it. It's not going to kill you. Curcumin is very good. So it's a new product we just got, and I thought, why not? Enjoy your supplements while you take it. So this is just directly curcumin. Turmeric, the extract from turmeric. Yeah, right? That thing that the Indian people flavor their food with.
Vietnamese, we use it too, but not for cooking. For like scar tissue or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we don't cook it with it.
So today I thought that I'm gonna, by popular.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Let's get going. So today we're gonna have two topics by popular demand. The first topic is gonna be, by popular demand, patching stem cells, LifeWave patching. So we're going to look at some patching protocols, and the first one I got because I was thinking about no, I'll go to that. The first one I thought was anger and frustration. I was thinking about Kim and Elizabeth, that they would really love this one, this protocol. Right, to calm you.
Right?
What is too repetitive?
Login.
Oh, the login?
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, I love. The thing is that if you didn't complain, you wouldn't be human, right? Only AI machines don't complain. They just do it without complaint. And that's why, as software engineers, we've decided to build equipment that's going to get rid of you guys. Because
you listen to Jack Ma, because he said that you can never replace human with machines.
Yeah, I know, but this okay, let's talk about patches.
I watched that one. You said yes, I know.
Okay, so let's look at this together. So anger and frustration protocol, right? We're looking at energy enhancer and the glutathione, right? And it's showing you where to put this. So this point on that finger is the calming position, right? And then right on the feet, the brown, the tan and the white, right? And then the glutathione is right there in between that big toe. So I thought I should give you some of this so you should go practice at home. But how can you practice if you don't have the patches?
It looks like the glutathione and the EE10 are in the exact same space.
And the EE10, where are you looking?
Yeah, but they're different products.
Different sides of the foot.
Exactly, it's a different side of the foot, yeah. So one is the EE on the
hand.
left foot and,
You only put the glutathione.
and the left hand. See, left foot, left hand, and right hand, right foot.
Oh, not indiscriminately on either
Oh.
Well, can you just look at the picture? That's why they took a picture. Yes, just like Republicans do. This is not a Democrat place where you have choice. You just follow the rules, okay? And that's how the system works. Yeah, the rules are in the picture. That's a right hand and a right foot, right? Are we clear that it's a right hand, right foot? Kim, you don't seem convinced.
No, I'm convinced, but this is two different type of patches you're talking about. Because
Obviously, it says there glutathione
I
and
was saying, so the first one is for calming. What is the second? The second one is just for
detox.
Detox. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at.
Okay. Because it has to detox all the bullshit you're generating from your frustration
So I don't get
and anger.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
It takes that right out.
Yeah, but if you don't have anger and frustration, you don't need to.
This one, yeah, this one was not for you. But how would you know?
How do I know? She doesn't get mad. I
Yeah, you don't get mad? That's not human.
I get mad out.
Because you're in traffic and you're running late, or your patient is running late.
Deep breath and get over it.
Yeah, that's what you think. Okay, then on the next page, they show you another place, positioning, right? So this time, they're both on the hands, left and right hand, and they're both on both feet. And this time we are using only the energy enhancer, 4 of them, right? It's what they call a powerful combination for balancing the upper and lower body. It's called the 4 gates, right? You know, these are architectural points.
So when we did,
I tried the first combination when I was in Vietnam. I was with our leasing people having a long discussion about our contract, and I went to the bathroom and I put it on, and I came back and I was very calm.
serious.
Yes, I'm serious. Actually, I have the whole file for it. I travel with this document. So I experimented with it and it really calmed me down. Yeah, and I drank water and then I offered even a drink to them afterwards. Telling you how good that was. Okay, so let's go to the next page, this page. We said you should not be drinking bottled water. That came from your filter?
No, from you.
Oh, you filled it here? All right, just making sure that you're drinking good water. If not, we have a punishment room where we send people who drink water from plastic bottles that they buy from a store.
No, zero water.
Okay, good. And if it's our water, it really is going to give you a lot of energy and calming. And it's full of electrolytes, double filtration system. And I know when you visit Elizabeth, you also drink from the Koei filter. The only people here who have not bought the filters yet is Kim and James. So they still like drinking toxic water.
I drink Kangen water. Kangen water only.
Oh yeah, she drinks. She likes toxicity, so we're gonna put her on a detox protocol also. That's why
I use a patch.
the glutathione.
That's why I use a patch.
Okay, so I just wanted to get you, and then there is immune system. So if you keep getting cold, there's an immune system protocol with the energy patch. The energy patch is really a very good patch. It's used for a lot of things, so you should have those.
Couple questions in. Are they reusable, and how long do you leave them on when you put them on?
1 day.
1 day.
Well, follow the instructions here. They will tell you how long to leave them, okay? Yeah, but typically you leave them for a day. Okay, I'm going to take you some other powerful ones that is programmed. So I wanted to give you some guidelines because somebody asked for it. So this is what you're going to be using, okay? Today we're going to really have just for an hour's workshop. So I just wanted to make sure. So the next set, this is the one that we're offering a gift pack today, not a gift pack, a discount pack. Yeah, you know I'm Republican, we don't give gifts. You didn't make enough copies of this. So there are 2 options here. Okay. No, hold on. Yeah, Doctor, he doesn't have. So there is what we call the 6-pack. And I think that I was supposed to put the 5-pack, but let's look at this. So if you want to do a yin-yang balancing, detox, plus brain balancing, you need to stay on the page where I am, James. If not, you get lost.
I know where you are.
Which is the first page.
Okay.
Yeah. If not, you get lost. Okay? So if you notice, we have 6 patches here. There's a day patching and night patching. James, I know you're lost because you haven't seen those patches. All right, so.
I found yin yang, I wasn't finding 6, which was what I'm looking for.
All right, so you want to come show them the patches, Are you guys gonna come sit this way or you're gonna sit there? All right. So look at the 6 patches, Grace. Show them in the bag the actual patches, Grace. Grace was going to show you the same picture. Yeah. So those are the 6 patches. So show them the 3 night patches: Carnosine, Silent Nights, and Aeon. Those 3. Show them. All right. So those are the night patches. And I would like for you to do the research so you can understand what carnosine is. Carnosine is very important for the body. Then Silent Nights makes you sleep really well. Then the Aeon really gives you youth. Yeah.
Do you wear, like, if you want a night patching, do you do just one patch?
No. Can you hold this bed? That's why we're running this protocol.
Do you do
No,
six?
hold on, calm down. You could do 1 patch. No, hold on.
You need a candidate.
I know.
So honorary Republican card.
No, she is actually on the fence. She's one of those independents. She's never sure which way she's gonna go. All right. So typically, you use the patches individually.
6 of them?
I said individually.
One at a time.
Yeah, one at a time. Okay. But this is a protocol if you want to achieve something, right? And the protocol is for balancing the top and the bottom, the yin and the yang, for detox and for brain balancing, which most of us need because of brain fog, right?
So if okay, here's the question that Elizabeth was asking. If I'm not doing the yin and the yang, because I'm wearing the carnosine in the daytime.
Well, the point is that then this combination is called a powerful combination.
Okay.
It's like I'll only eat salads without dressing, or I'll eat salad with dressing, right? It doesn't mean that you can't eat salad without dressing.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, it's a powerful combination, right? Salad with vinaigrette is amazing. Better than salad without vinaigrette, isn't it?
I think so.
Good. Whether you like vinaigrette or not, sorry. Okay. All right. So can you understand that? So, and I think that because sometimes people are saying, I didn't feel anything. So we're trying to give you real impact. I haven't tried this. I'm actually going to try this tonight. Tomorrow. I'm going to do the day patching tomorrow and the night patching so that I can report back. And so you have that opportunity. No, I can't start with the night and then the day. It's day
You have to start day.
with the day and then the night and then for 5 days.
And you have to get all these 6 patches in order to do the yin and the yang.
So, did I make envelopes for them?
That's what he says. I don't have the energy, the SE6.
And so we thought we should give you a gift, being such nice liberals.
You know, I like how they put the night one to wear everything on your face so you're not in public.
Yes.
You're going to leave a mark though.
Yeah, what about
Yeah, you're going to have a
those
circle in your
It
head.
goes away around 10, 11ish next day.
But it does make a rash sometimes when you wear it.
Not
Well, in the back.
in the bed, yes.
Yeah, it does, but it's because you're detoxing. Yeah, so your body is
Yeah, because I
reacting.
asked, he said that's a reaction of the detox.
Yes,
I think I
because-
have it too.
Because you're
So your
detoxing.
Silent Night and your Aeon has 2 patches in the same spot.
No, there's never a stupid question. Except if the question
Can I
is
reuse patches?
no.
How do you know that they only work for 6 hours and they
Wow.
don't
Well, I can show you the research.
Because I
hold on.
used it for a week and it worked.
Hold on. Very good comment. Let me explain something. In life, there is the distribution. We are always talking about the mean. Some people live here like you, they live in the future, and some people live here like in the past. So for them, it works only for 1 hour. For most people, it works for 12 hours. And for some, it works forever. Almost like love. It works forever.
Put it on once and that's done.
Exactly. But then we don't know about that really. I'm joking. So, but conceptually, when they say something works for this amount of time, they're giving you the population mean. That averagely, when they tested it in terms of effectiveness, that's how long it worked. Okay, is that making sense? And so what they are finding in a lot of the research and the testing is that for some people, it doesn't work the first time. And for some people, it works after 3 or 4 nights of using even the X39 or the stem cell. And being very skeptical human beings, especially in America, we put it onto people and say, oh, I don't feel anything. Obviously, you're not going to feel anything until it's actually an issue of difference. And so Serena Williams, that was the confession that she actually made. She said she didn't feel anything until she didn't put it on and went and played, and she could see the difference. You see the point? Because sometimes you don't know that you're optimally performing until you're not.
Did you use these patches?
Yes, most sport. That's where patching came from. It was developed for the Navy SEALs, for the Army, and for sports people. Most sports people use these patches, especially the energy and the pain patches. So a lot of testimonials for people who, I use it to play tennis also. So, and I know that it's really sustaining. I used to play tennis, afterwards I'll be like cramping, but when I use Life Wave and energy patches, there is nothing afterwards. There's actually no recovery. It's all gone. So that was one. On the back page, it's the same thing, but just showing you different pictures. Okay? So I think she's creating you envelopes. So what we, all right, that's fine. So Yara, can you help? So we're going to give each of you a sample set for you to test it and report back, right?
Very generous.
No, 5 days worth.
Very generous. Thank you.
5 days worth, right? So you actually test it out, right? Is that good? And the patches, it's all written on the patch which one it is.
Sure.
Now you have a picture of where you're going to put it. So don't call me at midnight and say, was it supposed to be on the left leg or the right leg?
In your silent,
I know that being Americans, you need instruction in how many languages you need instructions in Vietnamese, in Chinese, and in Hindi.
so in your night, silent night, and Aeon, they have you putting each 2 patches in the same spot.
Yes, that's
What do you do?
well. Just yeah, you do what we call stacking.
Oh, that works?
Yes, it works. Yeah, you stack.
That's not intuitive.
Yeah, sorry. Obviously, thanks, James. So you're gonna get that, okay? Oh.
Be aware some of the patches have a tan and a white. So pay really close attention to that.
So when they give it to you, you're gonna see that it's written on the back. There's a white one and a tan one, okay? And it will explain all of that to you. Are we good?
Yep.
Are we good? So which of the patches, now I have some competition to give a gift. How many of the patches come in a white and a tan?
The energy and the pain.
Why are you clapping when I haven't recognized the response?
No, because I have them.
All right, so give them a small gift, very little gift. Why? We'll give them a little gift. So explain what you put in there.
Oh, this one. This is the day. 8 hour. Each patch is the 12 hours. In the morning 8 o'clock. The afternoon 8 o'clock. They switch the patch nighttime. That's why each patch is morning time patch 12 hours. Nighttime patch 12 hours.
Is it important to take it at 8?
No. I know. Very important question. What do they say in America? That's a very good question. Yeah, it doesn't matter as long as the sun is up and the sun is down. It's a metabolic pathway, right? So you follow the sun when it's sunrise and when it's sundown. Okay, within those bandwidth. Okay. So because your body clock, no, we are following the sun, the clock. That is the
Separated by 12 hours.
yes, that's the clock. Okay, we follow the clock. the sun up and sundown, okay? Not when you wake up and when you go to bed. That is not sun time.
Which one is the $200 baby?
$200. I thought we are giving them $200 of value. Really? And you're beginning to make me feel like a liberal, giving free gifts. Okay, so give each of them one. So are we clear now about that before we move to our big topic of today? Any questions? Any other good
I
questions?
will call you tonight.
At midnight.
What is
Right.
side B?
What is side
I
B?
mean, I see a big A there, I don't see a B.
Yeah, no, don't worry. We're now going to... Any other questions before we start the big lecture for today?
So we should have 10.
Yeah, you don't count it now. You can...
That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
All right, so Grace,
Yes.
I don't know, can you count it properly?
This is for one day.
Is it what?
For some 5 days.
Yes. Can you, Grace,
5 days? No, this is for one day.
yes, can you give them for 5 days
5
each?
days.
Yes,
Want the envelope back? Yeah, this is for one day.
take the envelope back and count it properly.
Please.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
So we want 5 days, okay.
A week, that means
5 days.
So count it properly, okay, Grace?
7 days.
All right,
we only give
okay.
5 days.
We need to report back.
Yeah, we need a report back, and if you don't report back, then we will put it on your bill,
Yeah.
okay, and charge you in absentia. Since we all have access to your credit cards, we will just notify you that we charged you. Okay, we won't do something illegal. Okay, today we are going to talk about stool and GI effects, right? Big topic. So we are continuing our series on diagnostics. For people who have been paying attention, where did we start our diagnostics week? What diagnostics did we start with? Which diagnostics did we start with?
Detox?
Detox is not a diagnostic.
Oh, how about leaky gut?
No,
How about
no. So let me help you, Elizabeth.
Boston Heart.
Yes, so we started with blood,
Oh, the urine?
and there were 2 things we did with blood. We did Boston Heart, and we did Vibrant America. So now we have some gifts. When we did Boston Heart, what did we cover?
the blood?
No, there were 4 main things we measure when we do the Boston Heart diagnostics.
HDL, the L.
No, there are 4 major things we measure. 4 groups. So I'm trying to make sure you guys
Sounds like.
like what? Like panels.
Lipid panel,
Lipid panel?
fasting blood sugar, no?
No,
Hemoglobin,
no.
antioxidant,
I heard you whisper it.
metabolic.
Dr. Noel,
She's no.
you're cheating. Okay, what else?
I mean,
What else? The inflammation markers and genetics, like APOE, right? But there's something extra we also measure with extracellular, which is the CBC, the overall blood count. So that's the big report that you all have, right? It also does some hormones, right? It's a very important report. Okay, it's a critical report. Okay, then we did Vibrant America. What are the 3 big sessions in Vibrant America? You didn't do it? That's your intracellular. So one is extracellular, that's blood that's flowing, and intracellular is we crush which cells? I taught it here. Which cells do we crush to see what's inside the cells? Prasan spends time with you in session explaining all of this.
Red blood cells.
Good.
There's only 2.
Oh.
So. Shot, you know?
Why? Okay, good point. Why are we not? Yeah, we crush the white blood cells, but if we crush the white blood cells, what would we see inside?
What they've cleaned up in your system.
Because mostly the immune, that's the function of white blood cells. Red blood cells will contain a lot more stuff, like what?
Oxygen.
Yeah, but that's not what we're looking for, huh? No.
I have no idea.
Minerals, trace mineral, vitamins, because isn't that where they're supposed to be used inside the cell? Yes. Are we getting this? That's why we measure all these things, guys. I know your doctors are not used to doing this stuff for you and teaching you because they made sure you were kept babies, so you keep sucking their breast milk, right? So you never grow up. So you never knew these things. So it's very important that you know it because you're paying for it. Even if insurance is covering it, you're paying for it. You need to know what you're paying for. Okay? Then we did the urine. And we also did 2 tests for urine. What were they?
Toxicity.
We did the toxicity tests. Very good. And toxicity test is from doctor's data. Then we did another set of tests.
Does it have sugar?
No.
Drug test.
Drug screening, they do. Come on. Okay.
Products, so what? I guess that's the toxicity part.
So we also do a hormone test, right? Okay, how many hormones did we test for?
3, 4, 3.
Okay, 4. And what are the 4 hormones that we test for? Yes.
Progesterone.
Progesterone.
Testosterone and well, those are all the sex hormones. Progesterone, testosterone, estrogen, and what?
Stress hormone.
Yeah, what is okay, cortisol. Cortisol, right? Okay. Why are we measuring all these hormones? What are hormones for?
Regulating the body's system.
Cell communication. They're like the conductors. Yes, the messengers. They're the ones who make sure everybody is on tune, playing the music correctly. Okay? Very, very important. And when there are not enough of them, then your body is playing out of tune. Right?
The last one was
Then you are there with your girlfriend and you want to kiss and there is no desire. Because then people think desire comes from love. No, it comes from chemicals, it comes from hormones. Right? So when there's no desire, there's a problem with your hormones. Right? As an example. Then today we are going to talk about my favorite topic, which is the stool. Right? As we call it, poo. We even have a poo chart in our bathroom. How many of you look at that poo chart when you're sitting down? And you don't sit down in our bathroom, or you are busy doing something else? Yeah, we have a stool chart in there because you're supposed to always look at that every time you stool, so that you can look at your stool and say, am I a 1, which is very liberal, or am I a 6, which is very right, or am I a 4, which is the normal? Okay? So, we're going to talk about stool today, and it's a very important topic because your stool is the ultimate measurement of the health of your GI. It's very interesting because we are just recruiting for a study upstairs that we were just awarded for Crohn's disease and for UC, ulcerative colitis, which are very challenging things. So look at your picture. Let's look at what a normal gut lining looks like and what it looks like when you have Crohn's disease. Can you share? Do we have some more handouts? Can you get Sarah? Oh, Sarah, can you sit next to somebody? Can you sit next to somebody? Yeah. We'll make another copy quickly. Make another copy of this.
Page of the packet.
Yeah, it's the same page. Yeah. Yeah. Can you make a copy of mine?
Well, yours is all wrinkled.
They didn't. It's there. Yeah. All right. No, I gave mine already. Okay, quickly. Let's look at this. Let's look at. Are we seeing this page?
Yes.
Okay. Can we look at the page? Don't count your patches now. Why did you give it to them, Grace? You know they're gonna count it. The Americans. All right. All right. All right. All right. Oh, Grace. It fell down. Yeah, you should never. It's okay, get another envelope. Get another envelope. Okay. Alright, let's focus on this. Let's focus on this. Pay attention. Alright. So look at the gut lining. That is what we call, what did I say homeostasis was? James, you've heard it so many times.
Quiescent, normal, the normal.
Healthy. Equilibrium. My God, you guys are progressing. Right? Equilibrium, where everything is working well. Okay? Now let's look at what happens when you have Crohn's disease. Can somebody tell me what Crohn's disease feels like? You have like 10 bloody stools a day. And they're painful.
Stomach
Yes.
pain.
Yes. Horrible. And it is a big problem in the US. A lot of IBD research for drugs, yes.
So Crohn's is stomach related and like, what is it?
Well, it's all, well, the point is that doctors will say it's either Crohn or it's this, but it lives on the spectrum of whether the poo is coming 4 times or 5 times, or how painful it is, or how bloody it is. They're all in a collection of dysfunction in the overall tract itself, right? And it's really, really a very challenging illness. And so they will send this probe all the way to really see how bad it is. It's a very, very painful illness, okay? And typically, it's brought by antibiotics and infection and dysbiosis. So it ruins. See what it does. The mucus layer on the interstitial wall does not exist on the other side. You see that? You've lost that mucus layer. And so the one cell layer, because the whole lining of our gut is a one cell, one epithelial cell layer. It's why it is made that way, so that it's optimized. What's making that sound? What? Can you stop it? Sorry, can't hear myself think. Okay, so it is made one cell. It's one cell all the way to our anus for optimal absorption and excretion. But because it's also one cell, it's very fragile. That's why the GI, we focus a lot on the GI. This is very important stuff, guys. It's very fragile. And so when you take antibiotics or there's a lot of infection, it violates what we call the barrier junction. When the barrier junction is violated, then a lot of stuff begins to happen. What is happening now? Toxins, bacteria, unprocessed foods are now entering the bloodstream, which is really what triggers acute inflammation. because the whole immune system now is compromised because some thief has entered my 10-bedroom house, right? Somebody has entered the house, and now you have to, your alarm system has been triggered. The body is now in an inflamed, in a serious inflammation. Chronic inflammation causes a lot of things, right? If it persists. And a lot of people who have this problem, it starts very slowly until it becomes chronic, like Crohn's disease. It takes time for us to get to that place. Because, first of all, we have violated that whole area. The intestinal lumen and the mucous ilia has been violated. The junction has been violated. And it even violates now into what we call the blood-brain barrier. Because once bacteria is in your system, in your bloodstream, it goes up also, and some of the bacteria can actually violate the blood-brain barrier, which leads to a lot of other big illnesses in the cognitive area. Okay, guys? So it's very important that the stool analysis is a very important for us to find out what's really going on in your gut. And this is the only way we can find out, by doing the stool analysis, right?
How sensitive is that test to a specific point in time? Yeah, 2 days ago, you've been eating healthy for 3 days, and you go out with somebody and have a massively, not so great meal and a lot of, linguine with sauce and everything.
If you have gut integrity, it shouldn't matter.
So it's not going to really matter in the short run.
Yes. If you have gut integrity, why do you think I take digestimes, prebiotics, and probiotics?
Well, I got that, but you also eat. Sometimes
No,
you eat well, and sometimes...
Exactly. So that's why sometimes it's number 4, sometimes it's number 3, sometimes it's number 5. So there's fluctuation. Yes.
But James, no, it doesn't matter whether it's disease because you check your pathogen, virus, it's been there for a long time.
Okay, well, that's what I'm asking.
Yes. And so the only way for you,
Your interpreter actually...
my interpreter. So the only way for you to retain gut integrity is that you're taking your fibers and you're taking your probiotics and making sure that the bacterial diversity, as we've trained, consistently retains and keep that mucus layer and all of that really well. Because once it's violated, and that begins the long road to chronic illness. And most people have GI issues. Actually, all of us. It's the most challenging issue. Why? Because we are drinking bad water, we're breathing bad air, and we're eating food that we're not sure how it was made and the amount of bacteria. And on top of that, Dr. Noel is prescribing antibiotics. Right? So that is really a challenge. So that's why if you're taking antibiotics, we actually even recommend that you continue taking your probiotics, giving some distance. Okay, this is very important, guys. So let's go to the next page and then we'll start looking at the... So when the junction is violated, then you have this thing that we call leaky gut. Yeah.
Back to here. So if you get into that, you take some antibiotics. How long does it take to get back to homeostasis?
It takes quite some time, because the antibiotics destroys the ecosystem, because you are taking it for like 4 or 5 days. It destroys the ecosystem. The ecosystem is really the balance of the good and bad bacteria and the diversity of the bacteria. So sometimes the antibiotic is going to kill a certain population, which just causes confusion in the village. Okay. Right?
A month? What's a long time?
Well, the point is that's why we do a detox. It then restabilizes your system through elimination of certain food things and really controlling your GI architecture to bring it back to homeostasis. Yes, it takes a long time for repair. Yeah. So the drugs that we're testing upstairs, they don't actually cure the junctions. They damp inflammation. They damp.
They suppress it. They suppress it.
They suppress the inflammation.
Well, that's a good thing.
Well, the open junctions are still there.
So it's help you stop going to the bathroom 5 times.
It might help the pain a bit.
But does it cure?
Yes, the junctions are still open. It doesn't heal the tight junctions. The only way to heal the tight junction is through a lifestyle intervention to actually recreate the ecosystem that flourishes in that overall very complex environment. Is that clear? Okay? Making sense? So if not, you end up with leaky gut.
Does leaky gut cause heartburn?
Look at all the things it causes. It depends. Look at it. Yeah, it's part of it. It's part of it. It actually, heartburn is an issue of acidity and a lot of other things. Very complex. The challenge is that for each of us, these things would show up as different things.
Yep.
That's my challenge with current Western medicine, is that we start curing those symptoms without looking at what is causing. And for some of us, it's going to show up as all these issues. For some of us, it will show up as this. For some of us, it will show up as that, based on our genetic predispositions also, and a lot of other things. Right? So how it shows up depends on your overall health itself and your overall genetic risk.
So does the stool test, can it show that you have leaky gut or not?
Oh yes, we're going to go to that now. Yeah, because we're going to see things in your stool that are not supposed to be there, number one, and things that are supposed to be there that are not there. That's what it really tells us. It's an addition and subtraction game. We're looking for things that are supposed to be there in the right proportions, and then we start seeing things that are not there, like metabolites and inosine and things that are supposed to be inside are now spilling outside, and things that are supposed to be there in the right amounts and they're not there. Is that making sense? And then that's how we know that you have leaky gut. It's not like something shows up like a big L. Leaky gut, we're here. Right? We just know that proportionally it's not working. Are we clear on that?
Yep.
So let's look at a couple of the reports now. And then we will. So first of all, let me just share this. The testing that we do. Can you help with this?
How often, on a normal basis, do you redo these to see where you are? To keep resetting, finding out where you are? Recommend. Twice a year?
Okay, can we have a full session? If you have a question, ask, person can answer, because everybody else would need to hear. What was the question, Beate?
It showed on my test if I had leaky gut, and he explained to me that.
Okay, it's confidential. Yeah. All right. Thank you. All right. So just very high level. This is the testing that we do. We use Genova, right? Because it's a comprehensive assessment of complete GI health. And Genova is really using very advanced instruments. When you go to most of your doctors, they're not going to do a stool test, except you're having stomach problems already. So we recommend that you do this like every 6 months or every year, because it's very important that you get a sense of your gut health. It's really one of the most important aspects of your health. Most important aspect. You know, even when a child is born, one of the first signs they're showing that the child is healthy is the kind of stool that the child is producing. I know that because when my kids came, that's what the doctors wanted to know. What kind of stool is the child producing? Huh?
When they poop,
Oh.
doctor tasted it.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. In Korean culture, when the baby of the king poos, they taste it, because that's how they could know whether it was exactly what it should be. But it's your poo, and what's wrong with poo? It came from your stomach. It's just smelly because of bacteria. It's not like it's a bad thing. Don't look disgusted. It's just it's from your stomach, and it's just bacteria. After all, there are things that you eat that's worse than your poo. Right, Dr. Noel? There's some restaurants things you eat that are worse than your poo. You just don't know. So stop making faces like that. Genova recovers live organisms, yeast and bacteria, for susceptibility testing and improved treatment options. It measures metabolomics. Sorry, big words. It just looks at how well your body is metabolizing. It is the market authority for stool inflammatory markers, testing for all these markers. And it has amassed a database of hundreds of thousands of complete stool profiles. Right? We go back to that distribution issue about the population. So overall, they can say that if you live in America, this is the stool profile that provides homeostasis. Because if you live in Vietnam, the stool profile is different, right? Because the bacterial architecture is different. If you live in China, it's different, right? And also, children who are born normal tend to have more stable stool profiles than children who were born through cesarean, because they didn't come out with the normal vaginal bacteria that is fundamental for life. That's the facts, right? And that's what they've noticed. So a lot of these digestive problems are children that were born through C-section. They were just all their lives, they have a lot of issues, and now they are even doing implants from stool to re-normalize the colonies.
Where do they implant it?
Direct into the stomach. Yeah, they're doing implants, right? They're doing stool implants.
Okay.
Yeah, where they take somebody who has a normal culture and they give you that so that they can reculturize, right? And so that's actually more expensive than our probiotics. Okay? So it gives you a lot of things here about our vendor. So if you see, we are using the top vendor in the marketplace. And so we're going to now look at a standard report and the guide for interpretation. So if there's any class that you're going to really pay attention, this is the class, because this is very important. So we're giving you two reports. One is the, pay attention. One is the stool report. One is the stool report, and one is the interpretive guide. So we're going to look at it together. Okay? So preferably open the interpretive guide, because it shows you the pictures that are in the stool report and then how we interpret it. So it's looking at four things, right, in your stool. It's looking at infection. Why is it looking at infection? Talk to me. Yeah, so there is some levels, like, which are the bad ones, like Clostridium difficile and things like that. Some really bad bacteria that even for some people we refuse to give antibiotics because you can't kill it, and the only way is to just wash it over time. H. pylori has to be at a certain level, but if it's at a certain level, we know it's not good, right? So we have to keep diluting it with a lot of probiotics until it recolonizes the population. Right.
Eat only rice and curd, yogurt, plain yogurt.
Yes, to repopulate.
Yes.
Okay. So infections, so let's normalize here. There's always infection in our gut. It's just the level. Why is there always infection in our gut? Because we're eating crap.
Well, if you eat really healthy, is there always?
Come on. How many people wash their vegetables very well? How many people wash their hands very well? I can go on about it. So infection comes from, yeah, and then you shake hands, and then you scratch your face, and then you eat the apple.
I saw that you had something with Dr. Ack's name on it, and he writes the book. Essentially, he recommends figuratively roll around on the subway, get dirty, go out and get this stuff.
Yeah, but that's the point we're making, that when you're young and you build the resistance, since we are always having infections, then that becomes your normal homeostasis. When you're too clean, that's why we don't encourage using a lot of chemicals at home to kill every bacteria. But for some people, they were born already that way. If they go roll in the hay, they will die. I used to wonder, when I was living downtown in LA, there was this homeless guy who slept on the street downstairs. He slept there for 5 years. He was never sick. Right? We always had the flu and other things, but he was never sick. And he slept on that ground for 5 years. So, just credit to what you're saying. The second thing it measures is inflammation. Now, we have a test. Kim, what causes inflammation again? Are you cold? Okay. What causes, can you give them blankets or put off the conditioning? No, just bring blankets for them. What causes inflammation?
Injury.
Injury to what? No, in this particular case, what happens to the gut to cause inflammation?
The thing that you eat, the bacteria?
Where we had a diagram we just looked at. What causes inflammation?
Stuff is out of balance. I don't know. Is candida
The tight junction, the mucus is, yes, and then the intestinal wall opens up and the pathogens step in. And why do things inflame when infection happens?
Fight back.
At that,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, you answer.
It's a fight back.
What is the fight back?
That's what the inflammation happens.
Yeah.
your body responding
Your
to try
body
and contain stuff.
Correct. So it's our body's architecture to fight infection that causes inflammation, right? And so when the inflammation persists, that's when we have chronic inflammation. Very important we understand that. Perhaps we're going to have some more blankets. You need a blanket?
No.
Are you good?
I'm good.
You need a blanket?
I have a hot flash.
There you go.
Okay, are we good? Okay. And then we look at, I told you that we were looking at a couple of things with regard to the diversity of bacteria. Then we look at the issue of insufficiency, where we don't have enough. And typically we don't have enough of what kind of bacteria?
Good bacteria.
How do you know that?
You have said that.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yes, typically the bad bacteria beats the good bacteria, and the good bacteria's numbers are always falling. So probiotics really is trying to help us always top up with the good bacteria. Very important, guys. And that's where you then measure the sufficiency, that you have enough of the good bacteria to break the food as it's going past into, so that we can absorb it properly, right? Then we have the imbalance, right? And then you can see all the things that are in there. Okay? Is that making sense? So that's what we call the 4 functional pillars, right? And we look at the biomarkers, right? If you see the box below, the biomarker map, we are looking at all the biomarkers. Somebody asked the question, how do we know you have leaky gut? When all these biomarkers are red, you are in danger. It tells us already. We look at infections, it's in red. We look at inflammation, it's in red. We look at insufficiency, it's in red. We look at imbalance, it's in red. We know you are in bad danger. Or it could just be one that is in red. We know that's a problem. We want all of them to be green, to be balanced. Is that making sense? Okay? Very important, guys.
You've mentioned several times probiotics, but I've not heard you say prebiotics. Are you an advocate of prebiotics?
Yes.
No.
Well, the challenge is that it depends the kind of diet. Where is our prebiotic? Okay, so we have a prebiotic here, and can you bring the toothpaste that is on that table, the prebiotic toothpaste? So this is a very important prebiotic. Typically, sometimes I mix it in my drink in the morning. And most really what prebiotics are, it's fiber. That's why you shouldn't take smoothies. You should always eat the fruit or eat the vegetable so that you actually get the fiber. Why do we need fiber?
Keeps your
No.
intestinal tract what?
No, guys. Why do we need fiber?
It flushes stuff out.
No.
Makes
Yeah.
us full.
If you don't,
Makes us poo?
no, if you don't eat it, you're trying to pass rocks. So you know,
That's true, but what is the fiber doing inside of us?
It's moving things along.
Tell them, Prasan.
Fiber is basically helps in a digestion.
Like I said.
The bacteria feeds on the fiber that.
It creates a favorable condition for probiotics.
Correct.
So it's like before you put a seed, you need to give something to the soil, so it will grow.
yeah, you put nutrients in.
Correct.
That's-
Okay. So we have prebiotics and we have probiotics. And the one that we take, this one is how many million? This one, you always need to check how much it is. This one is about 20 million. We have one that's 50 million, and we have one that's 250 million. And so it's very important that based on, oh, okay, yeah, we have one that is 50 million, yes, that is it. And then we have one that is,
I think usually discussed in billions.
yeah, this one is 20 billion. Sorry, it's billion. Yeah, thank you. It's billion. Yeah, 20 billion. Yeah, but some shops sell it at millions, and you think, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But we have one that is actually like 20 billion. Yeah, that one is really very active. Yes.
Is there a date, expiration date on it?
Yes, we do. You have to finish them, take them. Yes, they
It'll
expire.
work better if you take them.
Obviously. Or you'll use the money you spend on them, right? So all of this is really huge on prevention. Because, you know, for most of us who are not cooking at home anymore, who are eating out and buying from stores and shaking people's hands and scratching our face and all the bullshit that we go through, you just need to make sure that you protect yourself. It's not really an option. On top of that, we add the digest times. This one is the gluten one. So every time I eat gluten, right, like I eat the wheat noodles or something like that, you want to take that to help with the breakdown. Where's the other digest time? Is it here? It's somewhere. No, this one is mucosa support. So, for example, we're talking about the mucosa. If you wanted to really fix the lining of the gut, if it is uncleared, yeah, so that is a spectrozyme. That is a digestive enzyme that helps with the breakdown. It assists, sorry, put that there. It assists with breaking down, right? It provides the extra enzymes to break down proteins, then fats, then carbohydrates. That's the order in which they're broken down. Proteins, and it's very challenging. That's why that environment is very acidic. Then the fats, then the carbohydrates. And then they're absorbing as it's being broken down. So the macronutrients, it's very, very important that they are broken down properly so that they can be absorbed. They can pass through those thin walls. Okay? So that way, whatever you're eating, so people say, oh, but I eat well. how much of it is being absorbed properly? Because most times, a lot of us don't have good enough enzymes to break down the food we're eating. And therefore, if it's not broken down, because then the body cannot absorb it, right? So you're creating these three things: the digestive enzymes, the prebiotics, the probiotics, to really create this ecosystem that would support proper digestion. It's very critical, guys. Very critical and very complex. And I know it sounds complicated, but that's the only way you really protect the source of chronic illness. Chronic illness starts with the gut. That's where all of it is coming from. So you really want to spend time detox and daily maintenance. Detox and daily maintenance. Because what is the detox? It's resetting your overall GI architecture. That's what the detox does. It resets everything and then restarts the engine. So because we cannot go in there with microscopes, so I recommend, these tests are expensive. How much is the GI test? $400?
$370.
Okay, about $400. So I prefer you spending it maintaining than measuring, right? So once we get the baseline, because once we get the baseline, you get a sense of what kind of stomach you have, what kind of GI tract you have. Then from there on, as you just got your results today, you can now say, what's our implementation strategy, which is what Prasan spent with you, and say, okay, you need to fix this, and this is how you maintain. But typically what we would recommend is that you detox, reset, and then start repopulating. And so there may be situations whereby you're gonna get, hello ladies, there may be situations where you would have to take antibiotics or something, and once you take it, then you have to make sure you repair, reset again, and repair, right?
Medical food for that.
Well, yes, thank you. It looks like we prompted her to say that. This is one of the best foods that we have for that. That's Ultra GI Replenish. It's support for the management of compromised gut function with digestive disorders, including malabsorption. Now, I was just talking about malabsorption. This is a very important medical food for that. It actually contains all the amino acids and everything, plus the enzymes that's going to support. There's always sugar in it for taste. Because if it is not, have you ever drank Chinese medicine?
Yes, I have.
It's disgusting.
Yes.
If they didn't put sugar, nobody's going to take it.
Yeah. With good
Even me.
Good reason.
So sweet.
Check it.
So when you
But it's good sugar because our body needs sugar. It's not like our body doesn't need sugar at all. Just,
measure the limits.
yes. Okay, but sugar is okay. You need some of it. No, but have you had a heartburn since? Have you detoxed?
No, this is a different product actually. This is a different.
That's not glucose control. This is something else.
The bag looks the same.
Ultra glucose 360. Sorry, 360.
The Ultra Flame 360, that was the second one that I take, the two of them together.
Yes. So anyway, so we have alternatives for people who have challenges with the sugar. There are alternatives. You don't have to take that. We have a lot of other alternatives to address the underlying issue. But a lot of what we practice here is really core. The stool is like the foundation for your health. It actually drives everything else. So in our intervention pathway, we actually start for the first 6 to 9 months, as we've been doing with Kim, working on the gut and getting that stable and getting the sleep, the hydration, the exercise, all of that. It takes a long time to really stabilize that, where you are really comfortable and you're going to the toilet at least twice a day, and it's a number 4 soft poo. That's the key sign to you that my gut is running well. Twice a day, number 4 poo. Twice a day, number 4 poo gives you a standard, good, functioning GI. Without bloating, without gas, without discomfort or any of that. So the body has lots of ways to tell us what's going on in the GI, right? And so it takes time, and you can't rush it because it's changing and rebuilding the overall ecosystem.
What about colonics?
I'm not in favor of colonics because sometimes it punctures the colon walls.
But if it didn't, are you in favor?
No, I'm not really, because what it's saying is that it's trying to force through the tract and force through things through the digestive tract, and I'm not really comfortable with that. I prefer a much longer, slower process.
And banned by FDA.
It's banned, yes. It's very dangerous, because really I would prefer you do a detox than do colonics, because a detox is what we call an elimination diet, where you eliminate and push things through and repopulate, right? Rather than do colonics. Colonics, people find it interesting. It's like in Vietnam, I went to this place where they clean your ear, and I was shivering, and I was like, why did I even try this shit? Right?
What's that supposed to do?
They remove the wax.
Oh,
But what if they punctured my eardrum? That was like, oh my God, and then I'm...
Put it inside though, Char.
Huh?
What did it put inside?
They have some, I don't know. Even just thinking, they have something they put and it brings out all the wax. It works, but it's scary. I don't know. What is it?
They put the liquid and they pull it out from the liquid. They're like a wax type of thing.
Yeah.
It creates a gel that hardens up.
I would never do that.
I tried it. I didn't know that's what it was going to be.
What they do,
Did you
they
hear
pour
better
wax in your
afterwards?
ear, and then when the wax cooled out, just like you, and then they pull the wax out, and they take out the wax.
Did you hear better afterwards?
Yes.
There's a lot of
That's the
validity.
thing, we don't know.
Well, but the point is that they could also damage your ear.
Anything in my ear with that, no, except the Q-tip, that's it.
Yeah, and they're very good and very skillful at it, but it was kind of scary.
Oh, they cannot use, the doctor never let you use a Q-tip.
Yeah, you
When
keep
you
packing
use
it
a
in.
Q-tip, you're pushing the wax.
In.
I read that article too, but no, I'm still using the Q-tip.
She's won the award for being our most stubborn patient. Yeah, no,
I'm not
no. She was gonna say she's not. I was gonna use something word, but yeah.
So, the question with the bag of, magic bag there with lots of amino acids and all that, are these complementary or do they replace the need to take a lot of the bottles and stuff?
Well, it depends on your condition where you are. I mean, he would then make a recommendation. I don't know. It depends when we get your report. When you get your report, we're going to see what the report is saying.
Well,
right? We're going to look at the levels of all of these
those
things.
are very convenient to make the smoothie. But
Yes, and that's what typically we would want to do. It tastes good.
It tastes good.
So you take that,
Actually, it tastes good.
but sometimes I take that, and then we have the probiotics that are powder, right? I mix with that, and
The 250,
yeah, 250 billion. You mix with that, and then you drink, and that just gives you a good feeling. And it's good because sometimes then you're not hungry.
Yeah, it's a meal replacement.
Yeah, it's a meal replacement, exactly. And sometimes I mix it with the glucose control also, and that, or the inflammatories, and then just take that, and that becomes,
You mix it with loose.
yeah.
Depends how much water you
Really
put
too
in.
thick.
Yeah, I mean, in this, and you shake. Oh, I use the bigger one.
Oh, yeah.
I use the bigger one.
Anything in that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
And also when you do that, you're actually taking lots of other vitamins in that, I mean, nutrient in there too.
Vitamins
besides
and
that.
minerals.
Certain vitamins. in there.
Yes, so you need to look at it. That's why we brought it. Also, because a lot of our toothpaste is toxic, we also have a probiotic toothpaste that is really highly recommended because you.
Did it transfer a lot to you?
Yes,
You get
yes.
a lot of-
Because one of the challenges is that a lot of the toothpaste we use is very brutal to the microbiome of the mouth, which is where all infections begin. Most infections that really cause problems in the. You see, that's the issue. Most people who have, what is the dental problem that causes
Even gum disease.
gum disease, gingivitis, and all of that? When you have gum disease, that's a precursor to leaky gut, right? And so, because then there's continue. How many times do you swallow spit a day? Spit, your spit.
30 times.
Yeah, it's like 5 to 10,000 times. So every time you swallow, if you have gum disease, you're just sending germs into the GI tract. That's why your teeth hygiene, your hygiene, is actually at the beginning of health, even before your GI. So dental hygiene is really, really important, right? The flossing, the brushing, and the checkups is really, really fantastic and very important.
How about deep cleaning?
Well, yeah.
Yes, you should clean if you need it. Every
Deep cleaning with the dentist.
yeah, it's very important.
Twice a year?
About once a year.
Well, you only need deep cleaning if it's gotten progressively tough. That's
Yes.
Millimeters, that little thing. will
Yeah,
make-
if not, they will just do the normal cleaning. Yeah, and you should do that. And if you floss, you really don't need it that often. So the flossing is the key thing so that the bacterial cultures don't form and turn into calcium, more solid cultures overnight. Because very, very quickly, right, we notice when you floss how quickly things grow on our teeth, right? It's crazy, isn't it? Really crazy how quick they grow. 1 hour later you eat and you can just see when you're flossing all this stuff that's coming away. So I'm going to conclude here. Are there any questions, any big burning questions?
Well, so it may be that I talked with Dr. Shant because that's who's leading a lot of my ongoing stuff. But I did all this stuff a year ago. I came in right at the end of June or first day or two of July after your grand opening, you know. So I did all that stuff. I haven't done any of it since. Recently got a pretty severe infection from my own mistake, and I had to take antibiotics. So I might have blown on a year's worth of stuff. I don't know. So when do I go back and kind of redo all this?
I do not recommend, except you're rich. I don't recommend persistent testing. I recommend a baseline, and I recommend interventions, treatment. So if that's what you've gone through,
Yeah.
then you want to be on the 250 billion and the probiotics and all of those things, and you should just repair yourself.
more
First of all, and also secondly, how is your poo?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Recently you were on antibiotics, so
Yeah, recently you were on
Yeah,
antibiotics.
yeah.
So the key is when you go to the bathroom, how much bloating, how much gas,
Okay.
and what's the poo quality.
No, I didn't want to, I'm not trying to spend the money or not. It's just how often, you're telling me about that. Well, if I don't do it again for 5 years, I don't necessarily.
No, first of all, you don't have a disease right now,
Yeah.
and so the testing is not really the issue. The issue is you took antibiotics. You really need to repopulate the ecosystem,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
You need to just make sure your dental hygiene. You need to make sure
It's
all
way
these
better than
things.
it is right now. I mean, when I came in a year ago, I had massively high blood pressure and all kind of other problems.
Yes.
So it's improved tremendously.
Yes.
Just trying to find out what I should be doing.
Yes. So I think that I would recommend that. Yeah, talk to him.
I'll work with him.
Yeah, and it could be that we want to do a detox.
Okay.
And just rebalance your system and then start repopulating. Because what does a detox does is really very important, guys. It really eliminates a lot of what you're eating and forces the body to clean.
Okay.
Right? Especially the kidney and the liver.
There's a master
Right.
cleanse approach. Do you agree with that? Does it work? I mean, it works in terms of losing some weight, and it claims it detoxes. I'm asking if it does. 'Cause
Well, so the question for us is that we don't talk about losing weight. We talk about healthy weight.
Yeah.
The weight at which you're healthy.
Well,
and
it's not
therefore,
here. It's
Well, we know. I mean, also, I'm not at my ideal weight. I'd love to, but I'm doing it much more gradually and slowly. But the point is that a detox allows you to then clean
No,
and...
I'm asking if you had an opinion about the Master Cleanse.
No, I don't recommend that.
You don't?
Yes, I recommend more gentle
No.
cleanses
Okay.
or
Incredibly
detoxes.
cheap, to be able to do.
Well, yeah, but most cheap things are bullshit,
Okay.
right? Yeah. So we want to make sure that we give you the right advice and that
I'm
you do
just
what is
asking to be informed.
you do what is safe and proper. Okay. There's a lot of fake news out there, and it's really dangerous.
Okay.
Yeah, you're playing with something that we really cannot see.
Okay.
And so the recommendation would be that you do something that is gentle and slow and gives the body time. So if you were thinking about that, we would recommend a 28-day detox, which is really a long detox.
Yeah, I did a 10 and a 14 with you guys so far.
Yeah, so if you can do a 28-day detox, it takes a lot of discipline. Okay? All right. So if you look at this, we also use saliva and we also use hair. So we do a lot of other analysis around these things. And so our practice is really built around data. And that's what we call the clinical biomarkers. And we feel that the clinical biomarkers give us a strong indication of health. The challenge with current medical practice is that let's look at the spectrum of health. So we have what we call vitality. So healthy people typically don't have vitality. They say they are healthy, but they don't have vitality. And I tend to emphasize what vitality is. You see it mostly in young children. Most grown-ups don't have vitality. They lost it a long time ago. Then we have what we call distress. And then we have what we call disorder. This is where Dr. Noel reigns, right? And writing all her prescriptions, right? Distress, the journey, say for example, to diabetes, right? So if you're at 5.6, 5.7, which is pre-diabetic, that journey started 15 years ago. That's how long it takes for that insulin insensitivity and all the issues around that for you to begin to get to 5.7 and then 6.0, where Dr. Noor would say you're diabetic. I'm just using one chronic illness as an example. The question is that most doctors would tell you that you're fine. And that is a lie. That is wrong. By the time you're 5.7, you already have significant injury in your organs. And so if you're about 40, 50 years old, you should be around 5.1. That's a safe place to be. Because anything around 5.6 in your 50s or 60s is going to cause a lot of, because already age is a big challenge that we all have to deal with. So you want to make sure that you're staying, your numbers are in the very healthy range as you actually grow older. Okay. Somebody had a question?
No.
All right.
Noting it's a pretty small range to be healthy and not healthy. Somehow you got to 5 to start with, and then you only have 10 units of 0.1 each to be...
Well, the objective is that we want a healthy, long life. 100 years ago, most of them died at 60. Or less, right? And we also know people who've already died, who are age mates, right? So we are like the lucky people. We're still here and we're healthy. So we must be doing a lot of things right. That's how I look at it. So I don't look at it in sadness. Somebody sat here on a Saturday lecture, I think it was, and he said, why do we have to do all these things? Well, for two reasons, I think. Number one is that the cost of healthcare is rising significantly. The question is, who's going to pay for it?
Well, quality of life.
That's the second issue, right? You're going to have a lousy quality of life, and then you just want to die, right? So it's not worth living anymore, and then you're going to be begging for people to kill you, right? So if you want to live a healthy, long life, I think that investment is being made now to say, I don't want to have Alzheimer's, I don't want to have Parkinson's, I don't want to have Crohn's, I don't want to have all of these things. You go across to the hospital there, you see a lot of people who are showing up for that. It's not that they were stupid, they just didn't pay attention to the signals, and a lot of doctors told them they were fine until they were in chronic illness area. All the drugs that we're testing upstairs just slow down the progression of chronic illness. That's all they do. They don't cure, they don't stop. Lifestyle interventions stop the progression, but may not repair the injury that has already been incurred. Is that making sense, guys? Any questions? Thank you for being attentive and for enjoying our air conditioning today.
Good stuff.
Right?
Good stuff.
Thank you, guys.
What is tomorrow?